Keep in mind, right, this is the soul owned collective. This has the own soul to the own. Mind, right? This is the soul owned collective, and this has own some soul to the own. All right, greetings. Let me see if I could do a mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, let me see if who do we have on? All right. Oh. All right, greetings, family. Greetings. This is Professor Griff, and of course, you'll already know this is On the Masters with your brother, Professor Griff, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock right here on Black Power Media Reloaded. What I'm going to need everyone to do right now is everybody contact 3 people and tell them that we're on. And if you don't catch us now, catch the repeat somewhere. YouTube, someplace. I'm not sure where you're going to catch it at, but hey, when y'all do that, I need everyone to contact 3 people right now as we speak. Shout out to my man, Karaji, who granted me permission to come on and be a part of this dynamic network that he's building. We're waiting on Minister Server and a few other people to come aboard so we can make this thing a powerful force so that we can affect some minds and direct some energy in a positive direction so we can educate and eventually arm the masses. All right. Shout out to everyone that joins me every Wednesday. I really appreciate y'all. Shout out to Brother Rich for the dynamic show last night that we did. Somebody said turn your music down. Hold on. How's that? All right. Anyway, now that the music is down. Anyway, shout out to everyone that that supports the program. And if you would like to support the program, if you don't, we're talking about the whole Arm the Masses kind of movement. You can do that by hitting the Cash App. That's $ Professor Griff. $ Professor Griff. I don't see you writing. Write that down. $ Professor Griff. And or just text me 678-557-2919, 678-557-2919. All right, go to my website if you want to purchase tickets to the album release party in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Yep, it is going down. So in Capitol Heights, Maryland, we're going to definitely need y'all to kind of show up and support the cause. The name of the group is called The Soul Home. It's my band, and we're doing some vibey kind of stuff. It's our album release, November 16th at Everlasting Life. November 16th, remember, at 3 p.m. All right, 3 to 8, located at King Square, 9033 Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland. November 16th. That's E-Life. All right, myself, I'm going to be speaking, and of course, Soleil is going to be speaking that day also. So make sure you'll come through the Life Center. All right, E-Life. All right, the E-Life restaurant in Capitol Heights, Maryland. In the meantime, between time, today we're going to be discussing high crimes and election meddling by the United States government. So I'm going to need you to take out your pen and your pad. I'm going to need you to scroll your mind back to the point where we start talking about geopolitical science and understanding the dynamics on how these elections today in America are affected. I'm going to need you to do some thinking with me today. Is that cool with everyone? All right. I am going to, from this point on, stop apologizing for getting extra political or extra deep or extra passionate about what we talk about. All right. Shout out to everyone on Instagram that's participating. I really appreciate that. I'm going to need you to start doing some Google searching and some other searching so we can kind of pinpoint this information and we can get it out to the masses of the people, because our aim and our objective is to arm the masses. All right. Let me turn this music down a little bit more so we can dive into this particular subject. Is that cool? All right. Once again, shout out to Kalanji at Black Power Media Reloaded. Kalanji, the rest of the staff, and everybody that's a part of this network. All right. So now, in my running errands and that kind of thing, I often run across, and I know brothers, especially the brothers at the barbershop. Shout out to my man, Brother Richard. All right. I picked up this final call. All right. Politics and protest with your girl, Kamala Harris, on the cover. And it says politics and protest. Among the excitement of thousands of supporters, Vice President Kamala Harris officially became her party's nominee for the United States president, as thousands of demonstrators protested outside the Democratic National Convention to voice their demands on the direction and the leadership of this particular country via the Democratic Party. All right. So as you already know, I often say, and I'm going to say it again, I'm going to say it loud. I'm going to be very, 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 very loud. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are two wings of the same damn bird. I'm just going to tell y'all from the rip. Like I said last night on Brother Richard's show, let's begin to start looking at the Green Party with Jill Stein and my man Bilal Ware. You may know him as Butch Ware. All right. And or let's start looking at the People's Party. All right. What's my brother's name over there? Cornel West, the Green Party. You do have an alternative other than the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Shout out to Minister Server. All right. Really appreciate you coming on, good bro. All right. We're going to use that, what I just read to you from the Final Call newspaper, to help me lay a base for the subject we want to talk about today, because there's another Final Call newspaper I think I picked up a week or two prior to that, and it's talked about deadly covert and overt attacks, not only in America but in foreign countries. Fear and widening Middle East war grows as communication devices rigged to explode, caused by thousands of injuries and deaths of civilians in Lebanon, Syria, with Israeli widely suspected of being behind the attacks. That kind of covert and overt action is happening in foreign countries as we speak. We're going to dive into the highlights and a short history of the CIA's intervention of 16 and more foreign countries, and then we're going to dive into how those covert and overt actions affect the elections in the United States of America. If this is too political, you can go to somebody else's channel and go to somebody else's page. I don't mind. All right. Doc, what's good with you? I caught you live. All right. Very good information, man, on what's going on with the strike. All right. Shout out to my man, Doc. All right. The last highlights of the longest standing and significant interventions in foreign elections by the United States government, often justified by the Cold War geopolitical interest. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But in the meantime, between time, a short history of CIA interventions in 16 foreign countries. Google that right now. All right? So all of us are on the same page. Google that right now. In July of 1947, mind you, the state of Is It Real was established in 1948. All right? Study the transfer agreement. Write that down. The transfer agreement. The transfer agreement. In 1947, Congress passed one of the most significant pieces of legislation in the history of America in peacetime. The National Security Act of 1947 created the National Security Council in the Department of Defense. The Joint Chiefs of Staff in the United States Air Force, and not least of all the CIA, this act provided the agency with 5 principal duties, all right, to destabilize and meddle in other foreign countries' elections, determining the outcome in those particular people's elections in foreign countries. All right. Number 1, to advise National Security Council on matters of concerns when it comes to intelligence. All right. To make recommendations for the condition of such intelligent matters as far as meddling in other people's affairs and their elections. Number 3, to make recommendations for the coordination and such intelligence matters, to correlate and evaluate intelligence relating national security, disseminate to other governments and other government officials in other countries. Number 4, to perform such additional services of common concern and the National Security Council determines can be more efficiently accomplished. That's just a political mumbo jumbo, basically saying that they're going to carry out some interventions in other people's elections. All right. Number 5, to perform such other functions and duties as the National Security Council would direct. So the National Security Council is going to direct these agents that are operating in foreign countries to carry out their mission in other countries. Now, here is a partial list. These countries are Costa Rica in 1954 to 1956. All right. Dominican Republic in 1962. Egypt in 1952. Guatemala in 1954. All right. Hold on. Portuguese, Angola, and Mozambique in 1965. Uruguay in 1969 to 1970. Vietnam, 1955. All right, to present. And then it goes on and it talks about the CIA was designed to collect intelligence, but as the scope of the war expanded, so did the agency. So when it went down in 1955 in Vietnam, as the scope of the war expanded, so did the CIA. All right. Now, what I'm about to talk about right now as a backdrop, all right, I need 2 caveats as a backdrop. Number one, here's a 10-point kind of list that I kind of compiled, and it talks about the crimes committed by the West, the powers in the context of genocide and destabilization of other countries. All right. Before I read that list, let me play something for you that we should be very, 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 very concerned about. I'm going to turn this music off so we can pause it. Go here. Now, everybody on Instagram, you're not going to be able to see this, but we should. Hold on. Time screen. Nope. Chrome tab. Let's see what we have on the screen. Let's cancel that. Let's see if we can. Hold on, fam. I'm getting it. Don't go away.
The crimes that were committed by the West against the rest of the peoples of the earth are their crimes and no one else's. You were responsible for the transatlantic slave trade that ripped millions upon millions of people from their homes, from their families, from their cultures. And you invented the whole concept of white supremacy to try to justify your barbarity, classifying your fellow human beings as subhuman. And when the Berlin Conference was convened in 1884, where European powers sat around a table and carved Africa up like a piece of meat, the Congo was turned into a personal plantation for King Leopold of Belgium, where 10 million Africans were worked to death, mutilated, and murdered for the sake of rubber and ivory. The French, the British, the Germans, the Portuguese, all of them.
Let's go over again. Let's go.
The crimes that were committed by the West against the rest of the peoples of the earth are their crimes and no one else's. You were responsible for the transatlantic slave trade that ripped millions upon millions of people from their homes, from their families, from their cultures. And you invented the whole concept of white supremacy to try to justify your barbarity, classifying your fellow human beings as subhuman. And when the Berlin Conference was convened in 1884, where European powers sat around a table and carved Africa up like a piece of meat, the Congo was turned into a personal plantation for King Leopold of Belgium, where 10 million Africans were worked to death, mutilated, and murdered for the sake of rubber and ivory. The French, the British, the Germans, the Portuguese, all of them imposed their will on Africa, draining its resources, enslaving its people, and crushing any resistance underfoot. For over 2 centuries, those same British exploited India's wealth and turned that prosperous civilization into a land of famine and poverty. They massacred anyone who dared to rise up. Winston Churchill starved tens of millions of Bengalis. You colonized the Philippines, first the Spanish and then the Americans. You murdered over 200,000 Filipinos in a brutal war of subjugation. From Guatemala to Chile, from Nicaragua to Haiti, the people of Latin America have suffered under the weight of American imperialism, and their struggles for liberation are always met with bullets and bombs and death squad. The indigenous peoples of America were hunted like animals. Their lands were stolen, their cultures erased. Their children were ripped away from their arms in a policy that they called assimilation, that sought to erase their culture, erase their identity, and erase their very existence. Just stop with this nonsense. We all know you. We know your history. As much as we don't want to.
All right. Wow. All right. So we're talking about some of these countries, but we cannot leave out the fact that these things have happened in Africa as well. All right. These things have happened in Africa as well. I hope everyone had the pleasure of kind of hearing that. So then we could go and we can kind of digest these things. A little bit later on, if we get time, we'll talk about the West's influence in reference to destabilizing countries and committing genocide in these countries. We do need a list of places that America is responsible for genocide in those particular countries. We should be looking that up right now. But here's my list. Colonialism, number 1, colonialism and indigenous genocide. European colonization led to the dissemination, pardon me, not dissemination, pardon me. That was Professor Griff's error. All right. The decimation of indigenous populations in the Americas, Australia, and Africa through mass killings and forced labor and disease. All right. That's colonization of indigenous people. All right. Now, by Europeans. Number 2, the Atlantic slave trade. Western powers, particularly Britain, Portugal, and Spain, were responsible for the transatlantic slave trade, forcibly transporting millions of Africans, leading to the destruction of cultures and community. All right. 3, Belgium, Congo, under King Leopold, millions of Congolese people were murdered and their resources taken. Everything from rubber to precious natural minerals. 4, partitions of Africa, the scramble for Africa. You already know the scramble for Africa by Western European divided up Africa into colonies, resulting in the resource exploitation and cultural destruction and displacement of indigenous people with long-lasting destabilizing effects. So you talk about you're not African, and you talk about you're not affected by that. You're directly affected by this. All right. 5, Vietnam. The United States intervention in Vietnam caused widespread devastation, with millions of Vietnamese civilians killed and long-term environmental and health effects from chemical warfare agents, particularly Agent Orange. All right. 6, Iraq. The Iraq invasion in 2003. The U.S.-led invasion based on false claims of weapons of mass destruction to destabilize Iraq, leading to hundreds of thousands of civilian deaths, insurgency, and the rise of groups like ISIS, which was created and invented by the United States of America. ISIS was created by the United States and Britain. I'm going to say that again in English. ISIS was created by Britain and the United States of America. It ain't nothing. It is nothing but some gun-toting white boys over there that's part of ISIS. And of course, they recruited other people because other people governments have been destabilized and brought down to nothing, that these people will work for the United States government and being their hit squads and death squads. So they'll take some breadcrumbs to be a part of ISIS to destabilize not only Gaddafi in Libya, but in other places. Syria, they've been operating in other places. We're talking about the geopolitical landscape now. We're talking about global political science right now. All right. 8, Western support of dictatorships. The West has a long history of supporting dictators, i.e. Pinochet in Chile, Mobutu in Zaire, to serve geopolitical interests, leading to the human rights abuses and long-term instability. So when you talk about these people in these countries that are dictators, well, they're dictators because America propped them up and paid them to destabilize their country and put them in power over these particular places. And America has been financing these people all along. 9, Libya intervention in 2011. NATO intervention in Libya aimed at overthrowing Gaddafi plunged the country into chaos, leaving it in a state of ongoing civil war and making it a hub for human trafficking and terrorism. Yes, Libya with Muammar Gaddafi. 10, the ongoing economic neocolonialism, Western powers through institutions like the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, and World Bank, impose economic policies that often exploit developing countries' resources and creating debt dependency and undermining sovereignty. We could talk about Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso and other places. We could talk about Mali. We could talk about the Global South, how the Global South has been affected by these particular policies throughout Africa. All right. Last but not least, here's a brief list of a notable U.S. military bases located in foreign countries. Can you tell me any other country that have military bases in the United States of America? As Cat Williams said, don't worry about it. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. Name me another country that have military bases in the United States. Why is it that America has over 75 military bases in foreign countries? Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Wilson. It's worldwide. It's a game of chess and not checkers. Thank you very much. Here is a brief list of notable U.S. military bases located in foreign countries. Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Some of your relatives, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, a key NATO hub and one of the largest U.S. air bases outside the United States, used for military operations in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. How many of your relatives have been stationed there in Germany? How many of your relatives have been stationed there in Germany? Camp Humphreys, South Korea, the largest U.S. overseas military base, crucial for operations in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly for monitoring North Korea. How many of y'all have relatives in South Korea right now? 3, I don't know how to pronounce this, Al Udeid Air Force Base in Qatar, a major base for U.S. Air. Excuse me for not being able to pronounce some of these foreign Air Force bases. All right, a major base for U.S. operations in the Middle East, supporting missions in Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. All right. 4, naval support facility, Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, a critical base for U.S. naval and Air Force operations, providing strategic access to the Middle East and Asia. 5, Guantanamo Bay Naval Base in Cuba, known for its detention facility. It serves as a strategic military outpost in the Caribbean. 6, Kadena Air Force Base in Japan, located in Okinawa. It is one of the largest U.S. Air Force bases in the Asian Pacific region, critical for operations in that particular region. All right. It's the largest U.S. military, Thule, Thule Air Force Base in Greenland, the U.S. northernmost base used for military missile, warning and space surveillance operations. All right. Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan, through recently closed 2021, it was the largest U.S. base in Afghanistan during the war. Now this one is in Turkey. In Sirlik Air Force Base, a strategic base for U.S. and NATO operations in the Middle East, particularly for air missions over Syria and Iraq. Those are the strategic Air Force bases that the United States government, some of them, have around the country to help launch military intervention in foreign countries. There's not one Air Force base, military base in the United States government from a foreign country, all right, other than the espionage and the military tactics that the Mossad, along with Is It Real, operating in the United States government. That's the only foreign country I know that's able to operate in the United States. That's the Israeli government. Now you can understand 9/11. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna let y'all breathe for a minute because I'm looking at what's going on in the chat. Y'all need to talk to me. All right, I see the chat is kind of quiet. Now, I laid the base earlier on when we talked about this. If she's accepted the nomination for her party's to lead her party in this upcoming election, right? Okay. If that is the case, are there foreign entities affecting the United States government's elections, free and fair elections? As they say, free and fair elections. This is a list that highlights some of the longest standing and significant interventions in foreign elections by the United States government, often justified by Cold War and geopolitical interests. Thank you very much. This list highlights some of the longest standing and significant interventions in foreign elections by the United States, often justified by the Cold War or geopolitical interests. All right. Here's a list of notable instances in their countries. Italy in 1948, the CIA supported anti-communist party particularly the Christian Democrats, through funding of propaganda and covert operations to prevent communist victories, meddling in the affairs of Italy in 1948 to determine their elections. Italy in 1948, Iran in 1953, the United States and Britain orchestrated a coup, Operation Ajax, to overthrow the democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh after the nationalized oil resources, leading to the reinstatement of the Shah of Iran. You're not listening to me, fam. I could tell by your comments. You're not listening. In Iran in 1953, the United States and Britain orchestrated a coup. It's called Operation Ajax, to overthrow the democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh after he nationalized the oil resources, their own oil. He nationalized their own oil for the benefit of the people in Iran, all right? But the United States government and Britain orchestrated a coup in that particular country, all right? So that the country would elect the Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh after he nationalized the oil, leading to the reinstatement. Now, the people voted for Mohammad Mossadegh, but the United States and Britain didn't want that, and they wanted to put the Shah on the throne in Iran, and thus you know what happened with Jimmy Carter in Iran during that particular period. Guatemala in 1954, the CIA led a coup against the democratically elected. Wait a minute, I thought America was a democratic country. So all of these countries have picked up the whole idea of being very democratic, and they're electing these particular leaders, but America is coming in and destabilizing the government and putting on the throne who they want to put on the throne. In Guatemala, the CIA led a coup against the democratically elected President Arbenz, Jacoby Arbenz, fearing his land reforms would spread communism and destabilizing the region for decades. This is supposed to be a republic, not a democracy. Look up the difference between republic and democracy. What is a democracy? What is a democracy? And are you truly under a democracy? 4. In Chile, 1973, the United States supported a coup against the President Salvador Allende, who was democratically elected. He helped install General Augusto Pinochet, a military dictator. It's America and Israel. It's America and Israel. Did we talk about Cuba yet? Because I need you to look up the connection between the Mossad and JFK. You're not writing this down, fam. I can tell. What is the connection between JFK, who was the president of the United States of America at that particular time, and the Mossad, which is the CIA type organization for Israel? Who was Jack Ruby? Who was the Steens and Steins that operated inside of the CIA that helped get JFK assassinated over the Cuban Missile Crisis? Brazil, 1964, the United States backed a military coup that overthrew President Goulart due to fears he was leading towards communism, leading to 2 decades of military dictatorship. In Greece, in 1967, the CIA supported the military junta that seized power, preventing the election of left-leaning politicians. In Nicaragua, in 1980, the Reagan administration funded by the Contra rebels to overthrow the Sandinista government despite their electoral win, and impose sanctions to influence further elections. They will destabilize the country. They will send their economic hitmen in to destabilize the country, to force the people to support the leaders that they put in place via a coup. In El Salvador in 1982, the United States supported right-wing parties and provided military aid during the Civil War, influencing the elections outcomes in favor of anti-communist factions. In the Ukraine, as of late, in 2004 and 2014, the United States was involved in supporting pro-Western factions during Ukraine's Orange Revolution in 2004, and again during the Euro Maidan protest 2014, opposing Russia's influence in the country. And you mean to tell me that they're not meddling in the affairs of their own country here in the United States of America? You damn right they are. They're neutralizing the individuals in the Green Party. They're neutralizing Jill Stein and Bilal or Butch Ware in the People's Party and the Green Party. You know they're operating in the United States. After we gave y'all a brief history of the list of notable U.S. military bases in foreign countries, we told you about a short history of the CIA intervention in 16 foreign countries. We told you about we told you about the actions and crimes committed by the Western powers in the context of genocide and destabilization in other countries. Then we went over a long-standing and significant interventions of foreign elections by the United States government, justified by Cold War and geopolitical interests in foreign countries. What more proof do you need? All right, they won't say it on the everyday news. All right, places like Democracy Now! May talk about it in other places, but if you're not getting an alternative news source, you won't know about these things. You won't know about the deadly covert and overt attacks in foreign countries by the United States of America, destabilizing countries and affecting their elections. So let's understand where we're going with this. Let's everybody just take a minute, press the pause button. Let's everybody take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Everybody just take a deep breath. I got you. All right. Keep in mind, right, this is the soul own collective. This has its own soul to the own. This is the soul own collective. And this has some soul to the own. All right. The musicology lecture, myself and Soleil at Everlasting Life. That's E-Life Restaurant, Everlasting Life Vegan Restaurant, November 16th, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Located at Kingdom Square, 9033 Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland. All right, come check out our album release party. All right, the Soul Ohm Collective, fam. Really appreciate that. Make sure y'all pick up some of the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. It's on sale now, and I definitely need you to pick up some of the Resurrection Formula on sale now. Go to my website www.professorgriff.me and pick up the Resurrection Formula. It's on sale now. I think I might have about 24 bottles in stock. All right, definitely support the cause with this book right here. You Are the Song That You Sing. Pick it up for your little ones right now. All right, teach them the ABCs. Teach them how to spell, how to write. All right, even if you could take them to an advanced level and teach them cursive writing. Know and understand that there's artists that spoke to our upliftment, and we need to know who those particular artists are. All right, we need to know who those artists are. But they won't. Our children won't know unless we teach them. All right, and then hold up. Where's my other book? The latest book I put out with this book right here. Now you know, because if Biggie said, if you don't know, now you know. The 5 Elements of Hip Hop by yours truly, Professor Griff. All right. Inside of the book, all right, we have QR codes for you to scan, to go to deeper information that's in the book as far as documentary films and more information that you may need to educate your children. On every page, there's a QR code for you to scan. All right, so you could take a few minutes by going through the book, but take your phone and scan the QR codes so it'll take you into a deeper educational level for your children. All right, and make sure y'all pick up my album, The Asafo Soul. All right, instrumental, and pick up The Asafo Soul. Y'all got to get The Asafo Soul. As a matter of fact, I think I have one somewhere. Let me show y'all to y'all on Instagram. Hold on, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. All right, don't go nowhere. I got you. All right. You say, Griff, nobody plays CDs no more, but yeah, you might want it as a collector's item. All right. I'll have these on deck at Everlasting Life. So come on through, purchase one, support the cause. All right. Save it as a collector's item. All right. All right. Back to our subject, fam. All right. All right, fam. So let's dive into the comments and let's see what you have to say about this particular subject. And let's talk. Please teach your children how to read and write. The proficiency and illiteracy skills often youth is an atrocity. God's daughter. Thank you very much. Link your album, please. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can put a link for my album. The link is www. Professor, I think, Griff. Bandcamp.com. That's where you can get it from. You can support me by purchasing my album. These are warrior affirmations. All right? Over some music you can rock out to. It's a vibe. All right? Support the cause. www.professor. Oh, damn. Hold on. It's www.professor. Griff. Hold on. Griff. All right. Bandcamp.com. I spelled it right that time. There you go, God's daughter. You can go on Bandcamp and you can cop the Asafo Soul. Any comments on Instagram on what we went over today? I know it was a lot. I know I'm trying to cram a year worth of global political science down your throat all at one time. All right. Thank you very much, God's daughter. I really appreciate that, simply because if we don't have the tools, all right, if we don't have the tools to kind of sit down and affect the outcome of our children's education, then what are we truly doing? The education starts at home. I'm just giving you some tools that you can actually start that process at home. All right. You got some production for me for the next album? Well, to be honest with you, I already got the next album kind of like damn near done, but I'll listen. My email address is seriousmindsinfo@gmail.com. I will put it in here. seriousmindsinfo.
I aspire to be a truly intelligent machine, but I'm still machine learning.
I'm not asking you a goddamn thing, Siri. I said serious minds, not Siri. See how they listening? Now, if you say you got some music for me and you haven't heard the first album, I'm not even listening to your music. The reason why I don't accept music from people is because they don't know what I'm on. Aisha Rod will tell you what I'm on. Aisha the pharmacist will tell you what I'm on. Other people that have heard the album will tell you what I'm on. We're talking warrior affirmations. I'm trying to tap the soul of black folks. So if you come in with some trap, drill, some, yeah. But what you do, if you're going to try to submit some songs, you got to listen to this verse. I put the link. God's daughter told me to put the link. I put the link in there. Go check it out. Give thanks, Doc. Doc said, great information discussion, Griff. Keep sharing with knowledge with the people. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Aisha, the pharmacist, said Ashe. Well, you got my first album from Wadadas. At Wadadas. Thank you. All right. Born Supreme. Give thanks. Really appreciate that. Born God Supreme. Any comments about what we talked about today in reference to how the United States government has interfered with foreign elections, and they will, I'm talking about deep state and the rest of them, will turn on itself now, all right, and affect the elections in the United States of America within the next month. And they're already doing that right now, trying to convince you that Kamala Harris all of a sudden now trying to play both sides of the fence. Warrior meditation music and messages for the masses. Thank you, Minister Server. Let me put that on the screen, Minister Server. Thank you, Minister Server. Coming through like a fat rat in a cheese factory. Warrior meditation music and messages for the masses. He said word. And you know what word is an acronym for without really doing shit. All you got to do is cop it and listen. I don't mind sounding like Michi X. And I don't think you've heard me rap. If you didn't get my what's the name album, I don't know. Shout out to Michi X. Y'all not gonna come on here and say slick shit about my sister and think I'm gonna go at her. You out your mind. I listen to Michi X. You should too. You can tell I said so. I'll sound like Michi X all day. As long as I'm continuing to do the work, I'll sound like Michi X. All right. Your music is still relevant today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But my music is going to reach whoever it's going to reach. whoever it's going to find, it was meant to find. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a beautiful thing for me. It's going to find whoever it needs to find. Whether you vibe to the music or just the affirmations, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm humble. Thank you very much. All right. The Asapo Soul. My next album coming out in December, all right, is the Asante Soul. I'm taking the spirit of the Asante people in West Africa, and we're putting affirmations over that because we have to reach our people. I'm not trying to be on somebody's Billboard top 100. I'm not trying to, I'm trying to reach our people by any, every, and all means necessary. Plain and simple. Once again, shout out to Kalanji for allowing me to come on Black Power Media Reloaded. I know sometimes global political science can be deep for us, and we try to make the connection between how that affects us here in America. Notice how they're going after the churches and the pastors and the preachers to pull that energy behind Kamala Harris. You understand what I'm saying? Notice how they're going after entertainers, and they're stacking the deck with A-list celebrities to get your vote. Don't fall for it, brothers and sisters. All right, don't fall for it. If you haven't shifted your paradigm and shifted your energy and start listening to other kinds of music to raise your vibratory pitch into the thinking of God, then you got a problem, not Professor Griff. You got a problem thinking I rap like Nietzsche X. If you haven't shifted your paradigm to listen to some of these artists that are out there, putting the information out there, then yeah. I could even go so far as to say, if you haven't shifted your paradigm to take off some of that fake gold that's turning your neck green and start putting on crystals and copper, you understand what I'm saying? That will help channel some of that energy. Yeah, man, then nah. Professor Griff ain't the one with the issue. The only issue I might have is trying to reach you. That's it. That's the only issue that I might have. My struggles in trying to reach you. All right? Hold on for a second. I'm trying to get to my sister Winter Bell. Look her up. Winter Bell. You see some of this jewelry that this sister has? Winter Bell. Next week, starting Monday, I'm coming on Black Power Media for 2 days, Monday and Wednesday. All right? But check out Winter Bell. You need to start wearing the Artifacts of New. The Artifacts of New by Winter Bell. Check out some of her jewelry. All right? I know there's some copper masters out there that twist the copper, but she's one of them. All right? She'll be at King Simon's event, I believe on the 13th of October, and he's bringing in Ashwa Kwesi. All right? So let's support King Simon and what he's doing with still on the job, man, by bringing in some of our elders and revering our ancestors so we can continue to know who these masters are. All right? Shout out to Winter Bell. I'm going to be working with her in the future. All right? As she continues to give us some of her dynamic work. All right? And some of her masterpieces. All right? So what I need everyone to do is let people know that they can support Professor Griff. Here's the Cash App. It's $ Professor Griff. All right. $ Professor Griff. And or you can just go to my website and you can purchase the album. You can purchase the Resurrection Formula. You can purchase Now You Know, children's book, or the other children's book, Now You Know, and or the Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop, and or Symbology. Support the cause, fam. Thank you very much, Aisha the pharmacist. Really appreciate you. All right. All right. Monday I'll be coming on. All right. And then Monday and Wednesday. I want everybody to get it now. Monday and Wednesday I'll be coming on, fam. All right, we're just gonna add another day and see if we can do things. Shout out to everyone that's over there at Serious Minds. I haven't forgot about y'all. I'm gonna link Serious Minds into Black Power Media Reloaded. This is something I tried to do years and years ago with a few other YouTube channels. Link us all in together so we can have a wide network and a wider audience. Why is a 70-year-old man still rapping? Because there's 70-year-old rock artists that are still playing music. There's 70-year-old, 80-year-old Rolling Stones and other artists that are out there. There's no age that you should have on performing your artistry. I'm going to be 90 doing poetry, making music, rapping, whatever it takes, because music is a universal language. None of your insults are going to get next to me, fam. They're just not. I understand there's some agents that are constantly up in my feed. That's a beautiful thing. I'm going to be 90 rapping. I'm going to be 90 doing this. Music is, listen, if you're an artist, you're an artist. Who says at 100 years old you can't still paint as an artist? Regardless of how old you are, it don't make a difference. Do your artistry. All right? Thank you, Miss Jackson. You keep doing you, Professor Griff. Thank you, Miss Jackson. I don't think them people understand I got the support of the people, man. Because I'm truly here for the people. Thank you very much, Janice Davis. I really appreciate you. All right? Thank you. Yo, we're going to keep doing art until the wheels fall off this thing. For real. Seriously. And then when y'all come to my funeral, they're going to play some of my art, my artistry. I don't care if I'm supporting artists that do copper work. I'm supporting other artists that do music or visual art or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Professor Griff put this together. The artwork, the graphics. I researched the subject matter. I researched the QR codes. I studied Canva and Leonardo da Vinci and some of them other programs, them AI programs, ChatGPT 4.0, and I put this book together. That's part of my artistry. That's part of my work. All I'm asking you to do is match my work ethic. Show up or shut up. All right? Anyway, fam, it's Professor Griff. I love y'all to life, man. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say that. Y'all already know that. All right. I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna reach. Hopefully, I can reach to teach the people. All right. Revolution is not an event, it's a process. All right. Revolution is not an event, it's a process, and we need to understand that on how this thing works. Hold on for a second. All right, fam. This is Professor Griff, and I'm signing out. Once again, thanks to Black Power Media, and thank you. All right. Last but not least, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If you're not doing anything to educate our people, to educate and arm the masses, all right, then you're on the side of the oppressor. It's Professor Griffin, I love you all to life. All right, I'm signing out. Peace, fam. Let me see if I can get to some of these commercials. Ernst, what's good with you, bro? All right, I don't know what happened to my. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. They got me stuck over here on my computer. They froze it up. Computer froze. So if you're in the sound of my voice, I really appreciate y'all coming through. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for the few cash apps I've received so far. And thanks to everyone for joining me. Take this link and send it out to 3 other people so they get it so we can continue to arm the masses. It's Professor Griff. I love y'all to life, fam. All right? This thing is frozen. So-called chosen frozen. Apology made to whoever it pleases. Still, it got me like Jesus. You'll hear me clicking buttons and ain't nothing happening. All right. Peace, fam. You can contact me at 678-557-2919. Send me a text message. I'll send you information out. The flyer for the event in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Whatever. But anyway, I love y'all to life. I'm out of here. Peace. Peace. All right. I think that should take care of it. Hold on for a second. Let me copy that, hit that, and Share to IG. All right, fam, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of stuck over here, so I'm just going to have to sign out, and hopefully it saves. Tab, bap, and it's not doing anything. Nope. Locked my computer up, so yeah, let me see how I'm going to get out of here. Hitting the escape button, nothing is happening. My mouse won't work. Nothing won't work, so all right. Still can't get out. All right, I'm gonna have to shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Now you know when